I bought it for $2. A week later, someone offered me 15 grand. He hadn't even planned to stop. The yard sale looked like every other one. Mismatched mugs, old remotes, a busted stroller with one wheel missing. Just suburban noise on a warm Saturday. Then he saw the box. Under a table, half collapsed, soggy in one corner. Inside, junk, loose batteries, a melted Walkman, a stack of baseball cards warped from sun and time. Most of them were trash, 80s throwaways. Bent corners, water damage. But one was in a plastic sleeve. Not new. The plastic was yellowed and cracked at the top, like it had been in someone's attic for decades. He almost put it back. Then he looked closer. No brand on the front, no hologram, just a grainy black and white photo of a ball player mid-swing. Pinstripes, strong jaw, a Yankees cap slightly tilted. He turned it over. Derek Bones Maddox, 1962, Norfolk, AAA. No stats, just a handwritten note in blue pen. It didn't look valuable, but something about it felt wrong, or rare, or both. He bought it with a box of junk. $2 for everything. 3 days later, he posted a blurry photo of the card on a baseball forum, just to ask. The replies came fast. Then the messages. Then someone sent him a DM. If that's real, it shouldn't exist. He stared at the card again. What exactly had he just bought? He didn't think much of it that night. Just a weird old card. Kind of cool, kind of off. He left it on the kitchen counter next to a pile of coupons and forgot about it. But the next morning, curiosity got the better of him. He snapped a photo with his phone. Not even a good one, just the card on the laminate counter with half a coffee mug in frame, and posted it to a vintage baseball memorabilia group on Facebook. Caption: found this in a yard sale box. Never heard of the player. Worth anything? He figured maybe someone would say $5, 10 if he was lucky. Instead, the comments exploded. Is that who I think it is? Bro, where did you get this? Check the corners, is the plastic sealed? By lunch, he had 20 inbox messages. 2 people offered to take it off his hands for $100, sight unseen. One guy wrote, if it's legit, you're sitting on something special. Not a Topps or Fleer issue. Could be preprint. Could be lost press stock. Another sent him a Reddit link to a thread from 2 years ago titled, Bones Maddox, the card that shouldn't exist. He clicked. The thread was long, obsessive. Some guy had spent 6 months trying to prove a card like this was made as a promotional one-off for a minor league game in Norfolk, 1962. Supposedly, only 10 were printed. None survived. It was never officially licensed. No barcode, no manufacturer. Just local press stock and a kid with a camera. Nobody had ever seen one in person, until now. And that's when the messages changed tone. No more lowball offers. Someone wrote, I'll wire you $500 today if you promise not to sell it until we talk. Another asked for his phone number. Then someone else, username just said 10speed27, dropped a number that made him freeze. $7,000. Serious. I collect historical error cards, call me. He reread it 3 times. That had to be a joke. But what if it wasn't? You didn't sleep. Not much, anyway. His brain wouldn't let him. Every time he started to drift, he'd see the card again. That black and white photo. The look on Bones Maddox's face. Serious, focused, almost defiant. Like he knew no one would believe this card ever existed. And maybe they wouldn't. Because if this card was real, really real, it didn't just have value. It had weight. It had teeth. By 3:17 a.m., He was sitting at the kitchen table in a hoodie and socks, laptop open, 4 tabs deep into baseball collector forums from corners of the internet he'd never visited before. One guy in a 2009 thread claimed he'd seen a Maddox card at a swap meet in Tulsa. No photo, just a description. Old Yankee minor leaguer, odd format, handwritten back. The thread died after 5 comments. No follow-up, no confirmation. Another user, CardCannon73, had posted a speculative piece in 2015 about a rumored promo set for the 1962 Norfolk team. The team only existed for half a season. A few rainouts, bad press. Folded quietly. The article claimed there'd been a commemorative day, a short-lived deal with a local printer to hand out player cards for the game. The storm rolled in that morning. Game canceled. Cards never handed out. According to the Post, most of the stock was trashed. A few were rumored to survive, but no one's ever proven it. Until now. He leaned back in his chair. What if his card was one of those? What if it was the one? By 10 a.m., his inbox had tripled. Collectors, dealers, people with usernames like Pinstripe Poet and BuntKing99. Most were offering cash. $500, $1,000, $2,500 if he could verify condition. But one name stood out. 10Speed27. First message. $7,000. Serious. I collect historical errors. Call me. Then another. $12,000. But I need a call. Serious buyers only. Then nothing. He sat staring at the last message for 10 minutes, rereading every word. $12,000. More than his car. More than 2 months of rent. More than any piece of cardboard had a right to be worth. He clicked the username. No profile picture. Just a number of posts. Hundreds, going back years. All in niche collecting circles. Focused on misprints, factory errors, unreleased test runs. Whoever this was, they weren't new, and they weren't guessing. He clicked reply, then stopped. Closed the tab. You don't know what you have, but I do. That card's not just rare. It's unpublished, never cataloged. It's not in Beckett. It's not in PSA. You won't find it slabbed, because it was never meant to be slabbed. I've been looking for that card for 13 years. My advice? Don't show it to anyone else. Don't bring it to a shop. Don't let some YouTube guy talk you into grading it. You walk into PSA, you'll walk out flagged. You want to talk numbers? We'll talk, but not here. Use Signal or Proton Mail. You can find me. The message cut off. He just sat there, still holding the card. That afternoon, he did what anyone would do. He tried to get a second opinion. He drove out to a collectibles shop on the edge of town. Heritage Dugout, a narrow storefront between a nail salon and a vape place. The guy behind the counter, early 50s, thick glasses, Cubs hat, squinted at the card like he'd seen a ghost. Where'd you get this? Yard sale, he said. The guy didn't blink. And you didn't, make this? No. The guy ran a gloved finger over the plastic sleeve. It's not fake, he said, half to himself. But it's something else. He pulled out a magnifier, examined the ink, the grain, the cardstock. Jesus, he muttered. Then quietly, this could change things. What things? The guy glanced around, lowered his voice. This is pre-consolidation. Local press, no licensing. If it's legit, it predates all known promo sets from that year, which means it's an orphan. An orphan? A ghost card. No official set, no record, no checklist. It lives or dies on provenance. Is that good? The guy looked at him, really looked. It means nobody can price it, not properly. Pause. But to the right buyer, it's not 12 grand. It's probably double. He swallowed. So what do I do? The guy hesitated, then said, depends how brave you feel. He went home, turned off his phone, put the card in a Ziploc, wrapped in a dish towel, and hid it behind the box of cereal no one liked. For the first time in 24 hours, he sat still. Didn't check messages, didn't Google anything. Just sat there and let the full weight of it sink in. Because whatever happened next, it wasn't about baseball anymore. It was about what people are willing to pay when they think something was never supposed to exist. He finally called. Not from his phone. He borrowed a friend's, an old flip phone with no apps, no contacts, no camera. Just numbers, just voice. 10-speed 27 picked up on the second ring. "You waited longer than I thought," the man said. His voice was clearer now, no distortion. But it wasn't any less unsettling. "I needed to think," he said. "No, you needed to realize what you were holding." Silence. Then, "I'll make it simple. Meet me. No cash, no transfer, just conversation." "Where?" There was a pause, then a city name, a cafe, a time. Then the line went dead. It felt like a scene from a bad heist movie. He drove 4 hours, parked 2 blocks away, wore a hoodie, didn't tell anyone. The place was a bookstore/espresso bar. Brooklyn, of course. Too expensive, too ironic. He spotted the guy immediately. Older than expected. Clean jacket, wire-rimmed glasses. Looked like someone's anthropology professor. On the table in front of him, a leather folder. Worn, creased, like it had traveled. The man nodded. Didn't stand, just motioned to the seat. "You brought it?" He hesitated. "I want to know what it is first." The man smiled. Not kind, not unkind, just flat. "It's one of 5. He blinked. "I thought there were 10. There were. 5 were destroyed. 1 was framed and lost in a fire. 1's in a private archive in Georgia. 1 disappeared in customs in 1983. 1 surfaced in a storage unit auction in Bakersfield, then vanished again. And the 5th? You're holding it." He didn't speak. The man continued. "There's no record because the set was illegal. Unauthorized player likeness. Local press did it on the side. No licensing, no releases. The Yankees threatened to sue, so they buried it." "Why Bones Maddox?" he asked. The man's face shifted, just a flicker, almost respect. Because he was electric, and they knew he wasn't going to the majors. He looked down at the card, still in its sleeve, still dusty at the corners. "And the value?" he asked. "That depends." "On what?" "On whether you want money or something more." He stared. The man unzipped the folder, pulled out documents, scans, appraisals, photos, articles. Every single one about Bones Maddox. Some yellowed, some in Spanish, some with redacted lines. One sheet in particular caught his eye, a telegram dated 1962 from the Norfolk team manager. The words, "Card release unapproved, hold print, do not distribute." Another page, a list of player names. Only 2 checked, Maddox circled in pencil. "You can sell it now," the man said, "and you'll walk away with 35, maybe 40,000. He blinked. "Or," the man added, "place it quietly, into a collection that doesn't exist, one that protects the history they tried to erase." He paused. "And how much would that?" The man didn't answer, just stared. That's when his phone buzzed. Not the flip phone, his real one, which he'd left off, or thought he had. It was a text, unknown number. "Do not sell. You're being watched." He looked up. The man across from him was already standing. "Call me when you're ready," he said, and slipped out the door, leaving behind nothing, just the folder, and a card that suddenly felt like it weighed 100 pounds. Underscore, he nearly dropped it. I'll explain why in a second. Hit subscribe so you don't miss it. He didn't call him back. Not right away. Instead, he spent the next 48 hours trying to decide what kind of person he was. The kind who takes the money, or the kind who finds out why someone's willing to pay that much to keep it hidden. He reread the documents in the leather folder 3 times. The telegram, the redacted scouting notes, the faded, grainy team photo with Bones barely in the back row, half-shadowed, but still the sharpest one in frame. There was one photocopy of a handwritten letter, dated August 1962, addressed to M. Jones. It read, "He was the best we had, but they weren't gonna let him move up. Too much press, too many white kids asking questions. I think we gave him the card set just to say sorry, just to give him something to hold." That was the part that stayed with him. Something to hold. Not money, not status. Something to hold. 3 days later, he drove the card to a third-party authenticator in Boston. Not a chain, not PSA. An old-school guy with a jeweler's lamp and encyclopedic memory. He didn't say much, just took the card, examined it under 4 kinds of light, then stepped into the back with a file folder for 10 minutes. When he came back, he said, "It's real." No fanfare, just that. It was printed by McClendon & Sons Press out of Norfolk. 1-day run, unlicensed, no template match, hand-trimmed, promo test. I've only seen one other, and it was a scan. He looked at him square. "You don't just have a card. You have a ghost, an orphan, a one-of-one in the wild." Then he said the number. Conservative value, no auction, $47,000. High-end private collector, and I do mean private, might go north of $70,000. He didn't sell, not at first. He kept the card in a lockbox for nearly a month. Got offers, emails, letters. Someone mailed him a photo of the Norfolk dugout, signed by Bones in 1963, with a sticky note. "Let's complete the set." Another person sent $500 in cash, unprompted. No return address, just a note that said, "This is just for your time." He started sleeping with the box under his bed, not because he thought someone would break in, because part of him couldn't believe it was still there. Eventually, he contacted a lawyer, not for the money, for the paper trail. He wanted it clean, legal, transparent, not secretive, which ruled out 10-speed 27. But it opened the door to something else. In May, the Smithsonian's National Museum of African American History and Culture emailed him. They'd heard about the card through a historian. They didn't pressure, didn't promise a windfall. They just asked if they could see it. He brought it in person. They took it from his hands like it was glass. A week later, they called. "We'd like to acquire it," the curator said, "but we want to do it right." They weren't offering the most. In fact, their number, $38,000, was lower than some private bids. But it came with something else. A case, a plaque, a space on the second floor. Between the exhibit on Negro League pioneers and a looping reel of archival footage from minor league integration. He said yes. A year later, he took his niece to DC. They stood in front of the display. The card looked small, but the plaque next to it read, "Derek Bones Maddox, 1940 to 1998, AAA shortstop, activist, cultural figure." This unlicensed card, believed to be one of only 5 printed, was never officially released. It stands today as a reminder of the players history forgot and the stories we're still uncovering. "That was in our garage?" she said. He smiled, almost ended up in the trash. She stared at the case, then at him. "Do you miss it?" He thought about it, then shook his head. "No," he said, "I see it right here."